Hello, this article is called Making a Difference One Child at a Time. It is written by Dr. Suhumi Surihari, and I apologize if I butchered that. And it was published on January 22nd, 2021, and I linked the article where you can find it. And this presentation is done by me, Erin Holder, and I'm in group number 2. The main points of this article was about these two siblings who go to this place called Number Nagger, and it helps children with the math that are not really English-speaking students. And they also have a English phonics program. And one of the siblings joined the math classes, but struggled with some concepts due to the language barrier and requested instructions in Canadian. And with both of the siblings, they decided to join together because one couldn't do without the other. I'm so sorry about that. The main points of this article are going on with after both got into the English classes using the phonics method, after some time, their language skills and confidence improved dramatically. And the students transformed, especially in English, teacher and tools that the parents were even taken back by the incredible growth that both of the siblings had. The personal reflection on the article that I had was the remarkable progress in language fluency and engagement is possible with the right help and determination of the teacher and others who had helped with this process. And creating a personalized instruction to students' strengths and helps them in the learning process of the styles used to lead even greater growth in the students. And this article showed me how a personalized, supportive, and story-driven learning environment like Number Nagger can lead to amazing growth in children and making a forever difference in their journey with education. Thank you.
Hello, this article is over the key to improve teaching and learning. The article was written by Dr. Rick Dufour, published in 2009. The main points of this article is improving student learning requires improving teaching. Common strategies like supervision, random professional development, and individual incentives fail to significantly improve teaching. Systems thinking focuses on interdependence, collaboration, and continuous improvement. The goal is to improve the entire school system, not just individual teachers. PLCs organize teachers into collaborative teams, so it could be grade level, course specific, or interdisciplinary. These teams define essential learning goals, create common assessments, use data to identify struggling students, improve curriculum, and support each other's teaching. PLCs replace the inconsistent and teacher-dependent approach with a guaranteed, coordinated plan for student support. My personal reflection over this article was that it reinforced my belief that effective teaching is a collective responsibility and not an isolated effort. It emphasized that traditional, individual-focused approaches to professional development are ineffective and often wasteful. What stood out the most was the concept of systems thinking, the idea that even great teachers can't succeed in broken systems. Instead of blaming individuals, we must improve the environment by viewing schools as collaborative and interconnected communities.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bradley Hargrove, and I am going to be talking about the elements of a professional learning community. The article was written by Lily G. Jesse, and it was published in the winter of 2007. Below is a link to the article, The Elements of a Professional Learning Community. The main points of the article were that a PLC, which is a professional learning community, is the way that teachers and administrators respond to the needs of their particular school and not just a weekly team meeting. PLCs are designed to encourage the results, not really worry about the process. The first section was the focus on learning. The PLC should focus on learning instead of the teaching. It focuses on the results of the classroom rather than the classroom instruction. PLCs also establish a collaborative culture. PLC is a group of individuals who get together to achieve common goals for their grade level and for their school. The PLC focuses on results-oriented thinking. The PLC is not focused on the plan, but rather the results. And the results are celebrated in a variety of ways, whether it be luncheons or reward for the school, the kids, rewards for the teachers. The results are the main thing that are celebrated in the PLC community. My personal reflections on this article are that the PLC is an idea that promotes achievement among educators and encourages successful results no matter how the information is presented. I believe that the PLC encourages teachers to brainstorm and collaborate on student education while also allowing the teacher the freedom to manage their instruction in their respective classrooms. The results are the most important thing for a PLC. My school, DeWitt High School, uses the PLC approach. We have weekly team meetings that are used for collaboration on ideas. As a new teacher last year, I was able to ask questions and field suggestions about classroom instruction and then implement the ones that I felt that were best for my students. Our PLC celebrated successes and brainstormed how we could do better the next time. Our PLC was very helpful for a first-year teacher, just trying to learn the ropes and trying to transition into teaching 10th grade civics and economics. I believe the PLC program or a PLC learning environment is a great one for a young teacher to start out with. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Hello, my name is Tyler Hickman, and the topic I chose to research is teacher collaboration and raising student achievement. After doing some research, the article I chose is titled Teacher Collaboration to Elevate Student Achievement, and the authors are Walschlager, McMurky, Grobe, Rick Steiner, Compagnone, and Voros. The publication date is June 2025 in the Journal of Learning and Instruction, Volume 97. The purpose of this study is the authors are going to explore the following questions. Does teacher collaboration enhance student learning directly, or does collaboration work indirectly, assisting teachers to optimize instruction, which in turn improves student achievement? And the area they're going to be assessing is 5th grade mathematics. And listed in the slide is a link to the article as well. Hello, my name is... Alright, before we get into the main findings of the article, I would like to go over some of the methods that were used in this research. So, there's a large-scale mixed method approach involving 59 public primary schools in Switzerland, of which there were 1,630 educators and 1,637 5th grade students initially. The data was kind of dropped down to 35 schools, 80 teachers, and 770 students. There are varying factors that contributed to schools not being in the data pool. One example would be lack of participation in teachers. And in this data, there's two sets of data that were gathered: teacher data and student data. The teacher data, they assessed high quality teacher collaboration, surveyed using social network questions. So they were asking over the course of a year, like, how much are you collaborating, what's the purpose you're collaborating, so on and so forth. And then the student data, it was paper and pencil questionnaires assessing teacher collaboration and instructional quality, and then also, of course, their overall achievements in mathematics. Alright, before we Alright, the main findings and key points I took away from this article. First, there's no direct link found between teacher collaboration and mathematic improvement. So it didn't matter how many times the math teachers collaborated, that's not indicative of mathematic improvement on its own. However, results revealed a significant positive indirect effect between high quality teacher collaboration and student achievement through instructional quality. So if the teachers are collaborating with purpose and intentionality, that increased instructional quality, which also increased student achievement. Thirdly, instructional quality is discerned by students mediates the relationship between teacher collaboration and achievement. So in this example, teacher collaboration and achievement do correlate if the students are able to determine an increase in instructional quality. So if these teachers are just collaborating and they think they're increasing instructional quality, that doesn't necessarily mean they are. It's in this research, it shows that when the students showed that they thought the instruction quality increased, that it actually did, and their results increased. And then lastly, high quality collaboration improves instruction practices, which lead to improved student outcomes. Alright, the author's main message behind the article is first, that by itself, teacher collaboration does not improve student achievement. Collaboration is only powerful when it drives instructional change. Personally, I think the article is great. I think they did a really good job of doing their research and conveying that, and really opened my eyes to how collaboration should be used and the intentionality behind it. Which is going to get into our first point. Simply put, quality over quantity when it comes to teacher collaboration. Teachers shouldn't be collaborating just to collaborate. It should be collaboration with a plan. There should be purpose and intentionality behind the collaboration, and that should be to increase instructional quality, which in turn can increase student achievement. Going into my second point, leaders in education should rethink how PLCs are structured and used. So PLCs should be structured around quality instruction, and I feel like a lot of times it might be revolved around the quantity of whatever you're doing, how many times you're meeting, how many of this you're doing, how many of that, and it's a number-based thing, like it's how much you're doing in so much volume that you're not really focusing on the quality of instruction. And I feel like PLCs should be based upon those standards. Thirdly, student feedback provides a valuable perspective that can help students, teachers, and instruction improve as a whole. So being able to go to the students and asking them what's working, what's not working is very valuable, because the students are going to change every year. Everything's going to, what they're learning could change often. So, I feel like it's always good to go to the students and see how they're learning, how they're retaining it, and how you can do better. And if you can get students to really be on board on this and be honest and provide valuable feedback, I feel like this is great for teachers and educators alike. And then lastly, as a future educator, I must use collaboration with purpose, get feedback from my students, and instruct with intention of growth. And I feel like if I'm able to do all these things as an educator, my students will succeed and the district will succeed if we can get all educators on board with this.
Hello, my name is Jadlyn Guardado, and I am going to be talking about an article on Do We Believe They Can Learn? The article I'm looking at and going to be talking about is Do You Believe That Every Student Can Succeed? Written by Anke Heider. It was published on July 5th, 2023. And a little bit about me. I am a teacher at a Title I school in the North Little Rock School District. I will be transitioning from second grade to kindergarten, and actually do have a lot of experience with students who are not meeting the norm for whether it be their grade level, academically or socially or emotionally. main points of this article, there were five that I noticed. One of them does have 3 main subpoints. The first one is that as a teacher, there are 2 common mindsets seen. It's either a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. Growth mindset means that you, as a teacher, believe that your students' abilities can grow, and a fixed mindset is the opposite. You do not believe that your students' ability can grow, no matter what. Also, that kind of goes with the second point, teachers believing that students' abilities are innate, which means that they are born with certain abilities cognitively. If they are not good at math to begin with, they're not going to become good at math, no matter what studies or strategies we try as teachers. The third point was that teachers need to adopt a growth mindset in order to see growth in their students, and that brings me to my fourth point. There were 3 ways to adopt a growth mindset. One of them was letting go of the tension of being a teacher. Teacher was italicized in the article, and that to me just meant like you're not just teaching curriculum, there's more to it, and you need to believe in the abilities that necessarily cannot be taught, that the students just come with. So if they're really good at math but not really good at writing, kind of take that math and help them improve on their writing and their reading. And there's always ways to integrate those, and we do learn those as educators. The third way to adopt the growth mindset was teachers reflect on their why as to becoming an educator. And this was the thought that teachers would have an increased tension with their goals as an educator, and pushing the thought that ability is in it and out, and that would decrease the fixed mindsets, not the growth mindsets. Okay? And the last point is that studies that were conducted showed that teachers who reflected on their why produced more growth mindsets, given the idea that we believe that students can learn. So, there's teachers who go back to having a goal as an educator and remember that goal. They're more motivated to help their students. So it's not just stopping at what the student presents that they can do, it's actually pushing them beyond that and believing that they can grow. And my reflection on this article is just 5 simple points. As an educator who teaches at a Title I school, as I mentioned in my introduction, and has students of lower cognitive abilities, a growth mindset is needed for not only you to succeed as a teacher, but also as your students to succeed in their academic career. My second reflection is this article is not saying that a growth mindset is the only way for a child to succeed, but I believe that it stressed the importance of how a growth mindset is good for teachers' motivation to do their best for the student and keep their students' best interest at heart always. My third point was that more principals should have this conversation with their teachers on their why, especially at the beginning of the school year, to get their minds focused on why we are here, what we want to achieve in the school year. And my principal actually does do this. He always, especially when times are difficult, he tells us remember our why in order for us to push on. And I believe that this article is a good reason on how that is beneficial for not only ourselves, but for our kids. Fourth point is a fixed mindset is not needed in education due to the necessity that we have to adapt. And that just brings me to my last point. Adapting cognitively and emotionally is a skill needed to be a successful teacher. The world of education is constantly changing, and we have to be able to change with it as teachers. As a younger teacher, I do see teachers who have been teaching for a very long time, some back when I was in elementary school or back when I was in school, and they're very stuck in their ways, and it does make it difficult, especially for students who just aren't the usual student that they may expect to have. And that's a student who may not be on grade level with everything, but mostly everything, or has this very strong ability to learn. And when they're stuck in that mindset that every student is like that, and they have a student who is not like that, it's hard for them to help the student the best that they can, or even want to help the student. So this article really shows that you have to be willing to adapt, and you have to be willing to know that not every student learns the same, but every student can learn, because we as teachers should have the ability to teach them, to teach all kinds of students. We learn all about differentiation. And so this article was a real eye-opener. I connected really well with it. The topic I connected really well with, and that is all I have. Thank you.